Hello everyone. This is not going to be a music thing, just get that off the bat. I've been thinking about doing a blog, an opinion blog for a long time, and so I'm just going to go ahead, cut to the chase and get it done and do it, because I have strong opinions, and I don't see a lot of people with my opinion anyway on the internet. A few, but not many. But I'm going to talk about the current state of the world and where we should go, or what my opinion is anyway. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, and if you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I've got an awful lot of friends on the internet that are on one side or the other. There's good points to both sides. There's, ebbs and flows, kind of. But the one thing I do know is that no group in the world benefits and can benefit from trying to make change through violence. Whether that be Muslims, Christians, Jews, pagans, socialists, Republicans, Democrats, whatever. I could just keep naming anarchists, whatever. A real anarchist, to me, will not initiate violence to make their change. They live the change that they want to see in the world. They live it. And that is the best way to do it. You don't want, and the government cannot be trusted. You don't want the government you want the government to suffer. You want the government to change. You want it to go away, perhaps. Then stop depending on the government. Stop trying to make the government pass laws to benefit you or your group, whether you be anything, anybody, transgender, whatever. It's a rough world out there, and we gotta all get along and agree to disagree sometimes, and try to live together. I could go on. The list goes on. I don't agree with most of the people in my life, and whether on religion or how the government should operate or how the world should be, but I just let them have their opinion, and that's the way it should be. And that's what I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. If you unplug, and do your own thing, do what makes you happy. Like, even for a living, you could, if you don't want to work in an office cubicle, find something that you enjoy doing and make a business out of it. But you gotta be good at it. Make a business out of it. And for all these people who are praising the incoming, global oneness, or where you got men and women becoming machines, or being replaced by machines, robots, it's not a good thing, Not a good thing. It's not what we want. Humans living longer, up to a point, maybe that's an okay idea. And right now, I would say no, because human beings are problematic. You know, human beings are problematic. We can't get along with one another. When we start getting along, then maybe it's something to look at. But right now, just helps the rich assholes who control the world and the government who want to bring us all. They want to bring us all together to control us, to milk us for tax money. You know, and that's not what we want. We need to work to be more self-reliant, grow our own food, produce our own power, wind, solar, whatever, not depending on big oil companies, you know. We are already starting to realize, most of us, I think, at least I would hope, for example, cannabis. Why was it illegal? It wasn't because people were getting high off of it. It's because the plant is so useful and would make so many companies, oil companies, pharmaceutical companies obsolete, and they would not make any money. And you can grow it. You can grow it yourself. You won't need their shit. You know? And a lot of it, ever since I've got out here and started living off the grid for the most part, and it will be increasingly so, I've started to realize that human beings are spoiled. We could do with way less. Then we live differently. We don't need to use as much water as we use. We don't need to use as much electricity. We don't need to depend on air conditioners as much as a lot of us do. We've become soft. You know, if anything ever happens, solar flares, knock out all the electricity, most people would die, because hell, we would turn on one another for these luxuries that we don't need. And you need to get out of your comfort zone. Get used to being a little colder, a little hotter. Do you think you really deserve? You think I should be pampered attitude? I have a lot of money. I have a lot of money too. But I don't live like I have a lot of money. And I don't want to. I want to be out living life in nature as a human being. Human beings are meant to endure way more than what we do, physically anyway. We're meant to be tougher. You know, we're not meant to live in a pure, clean room type environment. We're meant to be strong in ourselves, and you know, you get what I'm going after. And you know, I'll admit I'm not the best speaker, and my mind kind of jumps around, but bear with me. I want this to be a successful blog, and maybe I'll get better at it as time goes on. And and this is my first real rant, I guess you could call it. I'm not angry, but I do wake up every morning pretty much angry because of the way people live and the way people treat one another. The reason the government is even exists is because of people. Government's a symptom of human beings behaving toward one another the way that they do. You know, Christians thinking that their way is the right way and should rule the world. Muslims thinking the same thing. And it gets to a ridiculous and absurd level, right? It really does. People just live and let live, divorce themselves from the system. If the government wasn't getting as much tax money as they do now, then what would be their reason for existing? And you can lower your tax footprint to a great extent. And if everybody did that, would think what would happen. You know, and I know I've kind of debated with socialists on Facebook, progressives, whatever you want to call them, who want the government to provide us with free health care, free college, free daycare, free this, free that. But guess what? This shit ain't free. And if you don't pay for it with your tax money, you're paying for it in another way. If you get that stuff, and the more stuff that you get from the government, the more the government is involved in your life. Because the government assumes that you get hooked on the government assistance. You're going to want to keep that, so you're going to want to vote in order to keep that. And the mind trick that they've played on people is, you know, Democrat versus Republican, at least in this country. I don't know about other countries, you know, political parties. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of the same way. But, hold on, my kids are acting up. Okay, I'm back. It's just like this Las Vegas shooting thing. It was pretty devastating. They want a civil war in this country. Why? It would enable them to cement more of their control over the population. Don't buy into it. Don't try to start a civil war. It's pretty clear who would win anyway, I would think, but who knows? Who knows? I don't believe anything the news tells me anymore, practically. Because if it's not spin, it's some sort of government conspiracy. False flags and all this nonsense. You there? If you're there, then you can believe it. But, you know, first there was one shooter, then we clearly see two shooters. So, did he even do it? Was he just killed and left there as a patsy? I don't know. But I do know that it's very suspicious, isn't it? Do we get up in arms and ready to fight? I don't think so. I don't think that's the right way to do. I think we just stop. And I would plead for the socialist and the communist out there, the Antifa people, the BLM people, to rethink your positions. Stop identifying people by their identity. Look at them as human beings. Same thing on the other side. Your Republicans, your Bible thumpers. Stop looking at people with the color of their skin or whatever. Just an individual basis, you know. That's what we're all humans. You know, yes, we're different. Yes, there is a difference between races on one level or another. But we are all humans. Anyway, I'm going to let that go for now until next time. This is the Watcher and the Wanderer. Peace out.